What's up, sons? It's Blind Rod with Son of a Tech once again, and the World Economic Forum is sending mixed signals surrounding Bitcoin and specifically Bitcoin mining, proof of work. This is a really interesting topic to discuss because what we're basically seeing is an advocacy for the efficient use of energy for data centers coming from the WEF, also known as the World Economic Forum, but not so much in relation to Bitcoin. However, their examples are utilizing processes that have been basically pioneered by the Bitcoin mining industry. Let's get into it right after a word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Coastal Crypto. Coastal Crypto can be found at coastalcryptomining.com via the affiliate link down in the description below. They don't want to take up a lot of your time, and neither do I, because I want to get into the video. They are here to help miners find parts. If you're looking for ASICs or even GPUs or any other parts, be sure to check them out. Use promo code SOAT at checkout for 5% off any purchase on the website. Welcome back. So first things first, back in January of 2018, the World Economic Forum posted this. It's a comparison of proof of work versus proof of stake. And it generally basically prefers proof of stake over proof of work for these reasons, saying that proof of work is a requirement to define an expensive computer calculation, also called mining. A reward is given to the first miner who solves each block's problems, and network miners compete to be the first to find a solution for the mathematical problem. In comparison to proof of stake, they say proof of stake, the creator of a new block, is chosen in a deterministic way depending on its wealth, also defined as a stake. The proof of stake system, there is no, or in the proof of stake system, there is no block reward, so the miners take the transaction fees. Now, this isn't actually completely true. There can still be block rewards, aka an emission schedule for a proof of stake algorithm, and they would generate basically both the transaction fee as well as the block reward. This is no different than if we were talking about proof of work. Eventually, proof of work will have no block reward, at least in most cases, right? Some outliers like Dogecoin will continue emissions forever or indefinitely, best we can tell at this point. But in the case of Bitcoin, for example, in the year 2140, approximately somewhere around there, Bitcoin will essentially run out of block rewards and people will only receive the transaction fees for, or that are included in the block as the payment for the mining. So a little bit of a correction there. And then finally, it does say proof of stake currencies can be several thousand times more cost effective. Now, cost effective to who would be the question here, right? Because when we're talking about cost effectiveness, you could say that depending on the system, proof of stake can be more cost effective for the end user than proof of work. But as we've seen with the recent migration of Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake, this isn't proving out to be accurate, as we've seen still struggles on the Ethereum network to basically keep those network fees under control. It's definitely still expensive to transact for the end user on Ethereum. So I think that's been debunked at this time. Here's where things get extremely interesting, and I'm actually going to watch this video with you guys, but a new video has come out and it's from the World Economic Forum, and it's talking about basically the environmental benefits of data centers, not directly Bitcoin, but if you are a Bitcoin enthusiast, you'll notice where these technologies are coming from. So let's hop into it. Startup catches wasted methane, aligning the future of computing with the future of the climate.
One of the key problems we're focused on emission reduction is called flaring. Flaring happens either in the oil field or in landfills, where you have this waste stream of gas that's associated with oil production or happens from decomposition of landfill.
It's not always economically or logistically feasible to get these flares into a pipeline, so companies burn it on location, resulting in highly damaging emissions.
What Crusoe does is we actually build, operate, and manage these mobile and modular data centers that we co-locate on location with these waste sources of energy. And then we use those waste methane streams to power.
But you notice they called it data centers. He called it data centers, but then showed a clear picture of an ASIC miner there, which by and large, this industry of capturing flare gas and utilizing a natural gas generator to clean up the emissions and then utilize it to generate power for Bitcoin mining has been for Bitcoin mining, not for data centers, at least up until this point.
Data centers. And so by doing that, not only do we create a massive emission reduction from this previously wasted source of energy, but we can also produce ultra low cost computing infrastructure by harnessing this otherwise stranded form of energy.
All pictures of mining facilities here. It says methane is one of the most potent greenhouse gases, trapping 80 times more heat than CO2 over a 20-year period. Meanwhile, data centers are a growing ecological issue. By 2030, they could consume 8% of global electricity, up from 1 to 1.5% today. Lockmiller says Crusoe's business model is a win-win. It saves fossil fuel companies the money of either operating a flare or or disposing of it, while improving their environmental performance. Instead of shelling out, they receive a dividend from Crusoe, who gain a cheap source of energy to create extremely low-cost data centers that are clearly ASIC miners here. And the biggest winner of all of it is the environment, which is saved from harmful emissions. So the biggest advocate for this sort of it's just crazy. The largest centers here appear to be Bitcoin ASIC mining farms, which is crazy. I don't know. It's nutty. Flares happen all over the world, so Crusoe plans to expand internationally. Crusoe is part of the World Economic Forum's innovator communities. How else can we sustainably power the computing revolution? So, this very odd mixed signal kind of video from the World Economic Forum almost coming out in support of Bitcoin, but not directly, right? As mentioned by Christine Craneley here on Twitter. She says, at WEF promoting mining without using the B word, Bitcoin, source below, and then says to contrast that with the tone of the New York Times hit piece. Same topic, different emotional experience they're trying to deliver. But as you can see, all the pictures here, once again, are ASIC mining chips. So what is really going on here? That's the question. Is this actually a proponent of utilizing flare gases for crypto mining? Is it in support of it, or is it trying to reframe this to start being utilized with data centers? Or do you have to be a part of the World Economic Forum to be approved for basically utilizing these sort of waste reducing technologies? And if you are not, then it's just deemed bad for the environment as a whole. Another thing that I wanted to mention and go back to on this particular slide too is the biggest kind of takeaway from this comparison of proof of work to proof of stake is in the process of mining, you're utilizing equipment that you could purchase for fiat or whatever it may be, Bitcoin, crypto, however you want, and then that generates the coin. So your inlet is power, right? Your inlet to wealth within proof of work is power. Your inlet to wealth within proof of stake is going to be fiat. And I think these inlet or these inflows are really what's going to determine favorable regulation or not. I think this is why you see Gary Gensler hop, skipping, and jumping around the question of whether or not Ethereum is a security, because Ethereum, from an inlet and outlet perspective, is still going to be, now that it's moved to proof of stake, based around some sort of fiat currency to enable it, right? If you want to start staking Ethereum, you're going to have some inflow that is facilitated by fiat, whereas with proof of work, you don't have to have that inlet of fiat. Sure, you could utilize that to purchase the equipment, but you could also purchase the equipment with cryptocurrency directly. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Does it look like we're starting to see a shift from the World Economic Forum that is favorable to Bitcoin mining? If so, does that apply to home miners and flow down properly? Or do you think that it's going to kind of get it into a position where it's trying to be more centralized around regulated companies that are allowed to perform this type of thing, and other people will not be able to participate? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Also, leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. Check out sonofatech.com for my crypto mining e-course, as well as checking out sonofatech.locals.com for my daily moves in mining. I'll see you next Tuesday.